I got friends that I know that I'm only gonna hear from in a time of need. I got friends that hit me up when it's been a long time they ain't heard from me. I got friends that will just be cool if I make that call and tell him it's peak. If he puts you on a shirt, he did it for me, it's a loyalty. I got friends that won't go anywhere else, she calls me the TBE. I got friends that I call my G, couple day ones with me. I got friends that started out like that, but she turned into a queen. Back in the palace ain't where you find my royalty.
Blackout, max out.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros. In light of the recent developments, one of the biggest arguments coming out was Jermaine Ortiz didn't do enough to take the title from Teofimo Lopez. So now what we're trying to discuss here, and you can get involved in this discussion in the comment section, is does the challenger have to take the title from the champion? I'm turning over to you, G. What do you think?
All right. So does the challenger have to take the title from the champion? I'm going to say yes, but, or however, when to me, it's really on how your performance is, right? So I say if the round was close, meaning like it could eat, because it's rare you see a 10-10 round, right? But if the round is so close where you're like, yo, who did more, right? I think it should favor the champion because the champion has the belt. Most likely the champion is the A side, right? So the big money is usually behind the A side person anyways. You know what I mean? That's the person who's generating, the ticket sales, all of that good stuff. So hence, that's why to me, it's a true statement, right? Now, it doesn't mean that if the challenger, right, or the B side is winning, you know what I'm saying? But you just feel like, oh, the champion did enough to survive. That goes to the champion. That's not fair. That's a bias, right? So I'm against that. However, when it's so close, I think there should be a benefit to being a champion, and so that should be that one benefit. It's like the round's so close, you just give it to the champion, and that kind of forces a challenger to go that extra mile to make it so convincing that judges go, now, without a shadow of a doubt, you won that round. The problem is when, and I'm going to use Ortiz and Teofimo as my reference, right? A lot of those rounds, like those are the certified toss-up rounds. Like I said in the first segment, 7 out of the 12 rounds could have went either way, right? So now if you're a judge or whoever, you're going on based upon your preferences, right? And again, boxing, and I know it's a sport, right? But it's also a business, and it's more of a business than an actual sport. And the reason why I say this is because promoters are investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in these fighters, and so sanctioning bodies, all kind of stuff, right? So they're picking particular judges, right, that they know, like, hey, this judge favors this style over that style. You know what I mean? And certain judges, I know myself, if I was a judge, I'm telling you, that Ortiz style would bother me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not trying to see a dude do laps around the ring, bro. Like, if I wanted to see that, I might as well watch, like, NASCAR or something. You know what I'm saying? So, like, with Teofimo's strategy, I mean, not Teofimo, excuse me, Jermaine Ortiz's strategy, although it was effective, right, against Teo style, I think it left like a sour taste in the mouths of the judges. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're like, damn, man, like, yo, this dude's running or he's not engaging. The crowd's booing. You know what I'm saying? And all of that plays a factor in the night of the fight, right? You know what I mean? Like, imagine you're a judge. You're looking at stuff. You're looking at this guy. You seeing one guy, Teofimo, the champion, the A side, like, yo, come on, fight me. And the other guy's just constantly lapping him. The crowd's booing. That's gonna favor Teofimo, the champion. You know what I'm saying? So the judges, all of that, they could front like, yeah, I could remove all of that and still make the right decision. All of that plays a factor in judging. You know what I mean? So when it says like take the title from the champion, you have to take the title from the champion. You have to defeat the guy each round. Like, the rounds have to be convincing. It can't be like, oh, this could go either way. I don't know. Because if people go like that, most judges are going to favor the champion or the A side. And that's what usually happens. And so politics usually play a factor, but it's not a robbery per se. It's just, my man, you could have did a lot more, but you chose not to. And yeah, you chose to go safe. Like, Ortiz's strategy was safe because Teofimo's horrible when it comes to, taking the fight to a guy. You know what I'm saying? But Jermaine really didn't capitalize off that enough to be like, yeah, I got to give it to Ortiz. And so that's why I'm saying taking it from the champ, I think it is a real saying. And that saying's been around, before I was born. And I agree with it. You know what I'm saying?
Dollar bill.
While we was watching the fight, you know what I'm saying? I kept saying to you guys, and nobody would respond to me. I thought y'all was egging me in the chat.
I agree with you, Trill. What you talking about? I was like,
you be misrepresenting what we have in the chat, Trill. You be misrepresenting.
I said, everybody else, nobody was answering my texts. Nah. My concern was, I said I had Ortiz winning, right? But I was like, but is he taking the championship from the champion? That's what I kept asking. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think that they're gonna say, you know what I'm saying? Like, he won the boxing match, but he didn't win the war. You know what I'm saying? That was my fear going in there. You know what I'm saying? And it happened, right? Like, I felt like he won the boxing match, right? But he lost the war. And the war was, did he take the championship from the champion? And the reason why I said this is because I remember, like, the history of boxing, of everything that had happened before. We done seen this before. And the guy was like, damn, he didn't do enough. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do enough. He should have came out here. He should have did this, that, and the third, like G was saying, when it comes to tough rounds, judges have this thing of when it's a close round, they tend to want to give it to the champion. And that's what happens in a lot of these matches. You know what I'm saying? Does the challenger have to take the title from the champion? Yes. We're not saying that he has to knock him out, but sometimes it has to be definitively clear to a lot of people, to some judges, especially old school judges, that he has to definitively win this round, or they're going to give the close round to the champion. We have judge fights like that before in the past. It's just like how boxing is. Once again, they asked me, do I think did he win the fight? Yes, I think he won the fight. But I think it was in some chances, some places where the rounds was close, where he could have, like bro said, it was a time where he wasn't scared of Lopez. It was times where Lopez sat himself against the ropes and he said, come here. And he brought it to him. Mm-hmm. If he would have did that a couple more times, brought it to him, mm-hmm. I think that it would have been decisive. Exactly. And he would have definitely got it. He definitely would have got it. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no way that he was scared of him in there. I think even when listening to his corner, they were so confident in the boxing. You know what I'm saying? They forgot that, he had to mix it up and still make it a little fight, And I think that's what happened. It went in there. It looked kind of like when Corey Spinks tried to steal the title away from Jermaine Taylor that time. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot to mention this also, but come on, let's just be real. Because it's a business, you really think they want a guy like Ortiz to win that championship that way? People will be like, oh my goodness, this is like another Shakur or somebody. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't have too many guys selecting this style. So they're gonna penalize fighters like this because it's not entertaining to the audience. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's unfortunate, but let's just be real. It's a business. They're all about generating money. If you choose a style that's not fan friendly, bruh, you're most likely gonna get hustled out here in these streets.
But on the flip side of that, I do agree with that, G. But on the flip side of that, it does leave a sour taste in a person's mouth who really loves the sport of boxing, because you want to root for the person who actually won. The guy, you want him to win. We all picked Teofimo Lopez. Yeah. I picked Teofimo Lopez to win that fight, but when I watched the fight, I said I thought Jermaine won. So when the person's going like, damn, they picked the person, it leaves a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And as you can see, like on Twitter, a lot of people felt differently. Yeah, we know what the situations is and stuff, but sometimes, it rubs people the wrong way, especially when a young man has trained so hard, and put his body to the test and made sacrifices, and then he goes in there and you think that he did edge the victory and he don't get it because he's not the star, so that does hurt.
Yeah, but this is why it's confusing, because just a couple of weeks ago when Shakur fought Ghost from Power, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude, it's like, Shakur won, but people were mad at how Shakur won. They were like,
wait. Are you saying that Edwin Dos Santos looks like
that's Ghost, fam? That's Ghost.
That's just horrible, G. Just horrible.
Come on, yo. I'm gonna have to pull up his picture, sir. You know that dude like Ghost.
I don't want you to pull up the picture.
I'm still, the thing.
G got that.
That's a fact. He looked like Ghost, son. You know what I mean? But like, real rap though, when you look at that fight, the world hated on Shakur, bro. Like, Shakur went to hiding. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that tells me right there, we don't even like that type of style. But out of nowhere, everybody's like cheering for Ortiz now. I'm so confused. I'm like, I don't know, fam.
I think you gotta. I seen a difference in the fight. I seen certain more excitement in this Jermaine Ortiz fight with Teofimo Lopez, with Teofimo Lopez's antics and trying to make stuff happen when he couldn't. Like when he was lunging the shots, he was thinking like, oh, maybe that could have happened. He tried to force the stuff, but he couldn't cut off the ring. He couldn't do certain things. I think we look at Shakur's gifts when he was able to do more. And he didn't do more. I think that's what's happened with Shakur Stevenson. It wasn't so much of the performance this way. He had opportunities to do more, and he didn't do more. You know what I'm saying?
And I got a question for y'all. So Ortiz, right, before the fight, he was promising a knockout, right? Do you think him saying that he was going to knock out T.O. actually affect the score in any way?
No. I think... And at the end of the day, right, I think judges are humans. Every judge, you know what I'm saying, doesn't score it like how they should, right? Some of them just go off of emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's true. We've seen it all the time. A lot of judges don't score it like how they supposed to score it. Effective punches, aggression, all that. They just go off what they like. So if you like the guy who just comes forward, even if he's getting, we done seen guys get do. You know what I'm saying? But he's coming forward. They're like, oh, well, he was trying to make the fight. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to make the fight. Even though he getting like he was trying
that's the runner excuse. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
that's the excuse they make when they rob a boxer. Like, oh, he was running, he was pressing the fight. Like,
the guy was trying to make the fight and press. Then he got
camouflage Andre Dirrell. It's like that's
how people. It's how people. It's just it comes down to preference when it should really comes down to the rules of scoring the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically what this all comes down to. People's preference instead of judging by the rules. People go like, if they like boxing, they like the boxer who like the clean, effective shot, get up out of there, moving and stuff like that. You got people like that. You got judges like that. Then you got the judges who like people who are aggressive. And like to come and try to, make the fight. That's what it is. It's preference over the rules.
All right, Ned, the TVE. Does the challenger have to take the title from the champion?
Yes, they do. But if they outbox him in a way like the champion doesn't look as the champion of old, like for instance, the Usyk AJ won. I feel like Usyk didn't really like beat AJ because we want that nitty gritty, like blow for blow. Yeah, shut your mouth, G. Shut your mouth. But
the bicep is back in his mouth. AJ got violated.
Usyk outboxed AJ, and I give him that 100% every day. I'm just saying, there's certain fights you see. That's the comparison that came in my mind when it comes to like the champion. You can't give him an out because he's the champion. and what I saw from Teofimo on Thursday, and he didn't look championship worthy. And Ortiz literally outboxed him. Was never exhausted, even though he was moving around the ring is boxing. It's not running, it's boxing. And what Ortiz did, I still feel like Ortiz wasn't on his bike. He was using strategic footwork to lure Teofimo in, and then he would counter and he would switch it up on him. And Teofimo he was baiting him. He baited him a lot into that. And every time he would get a call, G was like, oh, we spoke about it after the fight. G was like, oh, he's not supposed to turn around. Like when Ortiz like counter or switch,
hit somebody behind the back, bro. You can't do that.
Yes, you can. It's boxing.
No, you can't, bro.
He moved out the way of fire and got around behind him. Teofimo's supposed to turn around.
Why do you think the referee stopped it every time that happened? Because you can't punch behind the head, son.
He wasn't gonna punch. He's waiting for Teofimo to turn around. What Teofimo do? Not turn around because he knew what was coming.
Smart. It's just like
Nah, I'm with you, Ned. Nah, yo.
Every time
Jermaine Ortiz utilized angles to get a advantageous position on Tio, he turned around and gave his back to Jermaine Ortiz, and the referee broke it up. He should have warned Tio, and he should have taken a point away from Tio for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Ortiz got one. Teofimo never got one for nothing.
Tio know he was going to get beat up. That's why he turned away. But they're not going to say anything about that, Ned. You right.
I know. Ortiz was looking like the freshest fighter.
Can I say one thing and rebut to that? Listen, there's a lot of things that fighters do, right, that they're not supposed to do in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, and you know me, I'm Team Devin all day, but Devin hugs a lot. You know what I'm saying? He holds a lot.
Yeah.
Like Lennox Lewis used to hold a lot.
Devin uses his forearm a lot too.
Andre Ward used to hold a lot. These dudes will come in. Once they get in a line of fire, they just start holding, waiting for the ref to break it up. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's like, yeah, some refs may warn you. Other refs may like, nah, let it ride. Now,
but G, you can't compare holding to someone giving their back to the opponent once they know they're about to get pieced up. And what happened was Jermaine Ortiz would spin Tio around to a point where he could hit him legally, and Ortiz
Ortiz would just do this. He'll just turn, and then once he turns, you can't hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah, but that's submitting. That is submitting that you were in a vulnerable position and you know you were about to get pieced up, so you turned away from Ortiz that the referee can stop it.
It's debatable because Jermaine is using the footwork and he's like switching behind you. And I think what Tio's doing is like, oh snap, he's behind me. If I turn him, I'm not turning, bro. I'm not turning, so I don't get beat up.
Jermaine was hitting him with that Vasily Loma stuff.
I agree, but
when he spun him, and then he was at the side of him. He wasn't behind him. He was at the side of him, about to duff him, and then Tio would turn like this,
which
so the referee could jump in.
But I'm saying that was smart on Tio's half because now
that was a sucker move.
Maybe, but
get
hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, I
sucker
two punches where Ortiz hit Tio in the neck, and I was like, will that count? Because it did land, but it was the neck. So I'm
it does count. Punches to the neck count. What are you talking about?
Because
uppercut to the neck is one of the best punches in boxing. What are you talking about?
Like this, he turned like this, but it landed right here. So I'm like, I don't know if that counts. If it's like behind the ear, neck area right here. So I was like, but I think Tio understood, bro. If I turn while he's turning, I'm about to get dubbed. So I'm not even going to do it.
Why is Tio turning from a runner?
Huh?
Why is Tio turning away from a runner?
And you just because listen, man.
Go ahead.
You can have multiple talents, man. Multiple talents, man.
Go ahead,
you know what I mean? My man was a spectacular runner. You know what I mean? He probably could run and juggle balls at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa, pause, bro.
Pause. You know, I'm talking about like,
that was wild. Juggling balls.
Stop that. Yo, G got his hands like this.
Go ahead, Ned.
Yo, Ned says more pause-worthy things to you, G, but you be having the top pause-worthy moments.
That was wild. Yeah, the hands. Come on, G. Yo, come on, G.
Yo, pause.
Listen.
Crazy.
Yo, G.
Oh man. Back, all right, let me. Yo, I just like Ortiz was out clashing this man the whole night, and they want to give the excuse that he was running, he was doing this. Ortiz wasn't the one throwing headbutts. Ortiz wasn't the one turning his back. Ortiz wasn't the one slipping and falling in the ring. Ortiz wasn't the one getting counted. Ortiz was the one who got wobbled late in the fight, things like that, and it just didn't make sense to me. I watched the fight.
Ortiz, hold on. Who got wobbled? You talking about?
Timo got wobbled.
When? What round?
Yo, he came in and Ortiz caught him with like a hook, and he was like this, but he caught his balance, but he got wobbled.
Nah, well, listen, if you consider that a wobble, then same thing happens.
When you stumble back and you catch, that's you got wobbled.
Yeah, you're wilding, but whatever. All right.
I wasn't impressed with Teofimo.
It just reminded me of an old school song, Wobble Wobble.
I wouldn't be mad at a draw. I wouldn't be mad at a draw, but I'm mad at a unanimous decision where it's like, what fight were y'all watching? It doesn't make any sense. Like y'all came in with some type of bias, ESPN, because y'all know it's y'all Thursday night fight. Y'all want to keep y'all viewers up.
Take over Thursdays.
It's not the way you go about it.
Listen, there's a lot of robberies happening on Takeover Thursdays. That's all I'm gonna say. Yo, if you gonna fight on Takeover Thursday and you the B side, you need to get a little extra. You need to get an extra in that.
So you're gonna take a loss on Takeover.
That's what they taking over. They taking over your record. You know what I'm saying?
Take a loss.
I mean, taking a loss on Takeover Thursday, right? Take a loss Thursday. That's what we call it. All right, listen. Let me be honest with you. Trill touched on something. Rocky. Why is Rocky like one of the greatest movies of all time? It's the true underdog story. It's what inspires people, right? I still remember Carlos Baldomir beating Zab, right? And only having enough money to sanction one belt, which was crazy. And that story was amazing. Now,
selling brooms.
Yep.
Selling brooms.
Mm-hmm. And he listen to what I said. He only had enough money to sanction one belt. What if they robbed him? We would be talking about missing out on one of the greatest stories of all time. Did he have to take Zab's title? He didn't have the promotional backing. He didn't have to have all that.
The modern day Cinderella man.
Yeah. The modern day Cinderella man. That was Jimmy Broderick. Yeah. So, like, what are we talking about? That hasn't always been the case. It hasn't always been the case. In those Cinderella man types of stories are what make boxing. Look at Andy Ruiz clipping Anthony Joshua to become the first Mexican heavyweight champion in history of the sport. Look at how big that was. The rematch was even bigger than the first fight. Alicia Baumgartner stops Terry Harper, becomes a star in her own right in women's boxing. Alexander Usyk wasn't supposed to beat Anthony Joshua. How many people really thought he was going to do it? He was the underdog. He beats Anthony Joshua, turns around, beats Anthony Joshua again in his third and fourth fight in the heavyweight division.
Nito Donaire became a star, knocking out that guy.
Yeah, knocked out my man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my Darchinyan, Vic Darchinyan. And we was watching that Ruin for Vic. Well, I'll speak for myself. I was watching Ruin for Vic.
Yeah, for real. No.
I didn't know who Nito Donaire was at the time.
No, we did. They became.
And now he became one of the oldest, like featherweight champions or something like that. Like, this is what we're talking about. So, but Nito Donaire took it. There was we talk about take it. He took it. There was no way you could rob Nito Donaire. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, you heard what Ned said. He didn't really think Usyk did enough to beat AJ. Let's go back to Usyk Joshua 1. If they give Joshua the decision, it's a bad decision. People are going to be mad for a few weeks, but then AJ's moving on to bigger and better things. But like Trill said, you want the right person to win in the end. You want to watch it, you want to see it, and you want the right person to win. That's what it's all about. Like Oscar De La Hoya said he scored it 8-4 for Teofimo Lopez. And I already know what he's thinking in his mind. He's thinking, I think Ryan really got a good shot against Tio. I think we can make a big fight doing that. That's what he's thinking. But let me tell you something about Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, and I want to say this before I jump into what I'm about to say about Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, in his day, was one of the best fighters. He's a great fighter, legendary fighter. And his antics as he's aged has really
hurt his
overshadowed how great of a fighter he actually was. Right? But let me tell you something about Oscar. I've seen him have many, many great nights. And Oscar was one of the guys who, like, I circled the calendar for Oscar fights. Like, I was going to watch every Oscar fight. I was going to find a way. When he was fighting on pay-per-view, I didn't have it like that. I was a kid. I'm making calls. I'm figuring out who's ordering this fight. I need to go see Oscar. So I want to put that out there. But I thought he lost to Pernell Whitaker. He got the decision. I thought he lost to Felix Sturm.
He lost to Felix. I know that. I just watched it.
He got jabbed.
He lost to Felix Sturm. I remember that. I remember we was in a barbershop. We got our hair cut right before that. We were in a barbershop and everyone was talking about how Oscar was going to cook Felix and fight B-Hop. And we were like, yo, have y'all ever seen Felix fight? And everyone was like, it don't matter. Oscar's going to beat him or whatever. And we watched the fight and we were like, yo, he beat Oscar. Oscar got the decision. Now, let me tell you how bad it is. You ain't never seen no stuff like this in boxing. It was so bad that in the post-fight interview, they're interviewing Oscar, and Oscar's like, yeah. They're trying to convince Oscar. Oscar's like, yeah, I think I pulled out in the later rounds. And B-Hop, he's fighting B-Hop next. B-Hop is standing in the ring like, you did it, Oscar. You pulled out them last rounds. I'm telling you, Oscar beat him. Like, I never seen the guy he's supposed to fight next cheerleading for the dude. Oscar was in the ring looking like Bill Haney talking about them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think I'm lying? Pull this up.
B-Hop was like, you ain't messing up my money. You ain't messing up my money.
B-Hop, and he's still doing it to this day, which is hilarious to me. But B-Hop was in that ring like, nah, he did it. He pulled it out. And I'm like, oh, that's how you know it was bad. So I thought he lost to Felix Sturm. Ike Corte was razor close, but I thought Ike Corte beat him by one round. You know, he did. This is what I mean about De La Hoya being a dog, though. I'm watching the Corte fight. I'm like, geeked. I'm like, yo, Corte's about to beat Oscar. It's about to be another underdog story. Oscar came out in that 12th round, put him on the dirt. Like, Oscar was nice with it, dog. I'm telling you, Oscar was no chump. But Oscar caught a raw deal to me because I thought he beat Shane in that first fight. I thought Oscar beat Shane. And he didn't get the decision. This is what we're talking about with promotional companies now. Oscar, when it was to promote and push the fight they wanted, they slide you that edge. But when, you know, Shane at the time, Shane was up and coming. I believe Shane was still undefeated at the time, I think. And so
he was on Royce, wasn't he on Royce?
Yeah, he was on EPO. He was on EPO. Yep. And he was on EPO. So yeah. But I don't want to take nothing away from Oscar, because when you talk about these fights, you talk about some people get whatever. Oscar was a tremendous fighter, and I enjoyed watching Oscar fights. Oscar Vargas, another great fight. Oscar Trinidad, I thought Trinidad beat him. I scored it for Trinidad. There are people who were upset about that. I don't claiming it was a robbery. It was no robbery, dog. Trinidad beat him. You just gotta watch the fight.
And that fight, Oscar pulled the Ortiz.
He did. Oscar was different. Oscar was different. Don't call it the Oscar. Look, Oscar would spin the block like he was about to, and people would, he might shoot. Nah, Oscar come back, spin the block like, he might shoot. He ain't do nothing. It got to the point where everybody was like, he must be learning how to drive, because he's in driving school. He ain't doing nothing. But anyways,
I appreciate you breezing past that Vargas De La Hoya fight. Thank you.
I just need to throw that out there, but that was a hell of a performance by Oscar. I cannot lie to you. Have you never seen that, Oscar?
Don't go watch. It's a horrible heartbreak for me.
Listen, yo, if you ever question that Oscar's a dog, now let me just say that's a fight, for example.
Oscar
and all these young fighters. What'd you say, bro?
I said Oscar was going to quit that fight.
Yeah. Yo, all these young fighters who don't test themselves, who don't fight the big names, who, the one thing you can never say about Oscar was that he ducked anyone, bro. You can never say Oscar ducked anyone. Whether he won, whether he lost, bad decision, Oscar stepped in the ring with everyone. That's the one thing you got to give him. But you want to talk about someone like going through all the emotions in a fight. That's a fight. Like at one point you could see Oscar just getting completely dominated, doubting himself, still answering the bell, and then eventually getting the stoppages. It was crazy. Like I'm telling you, at one point watching that fight, I'm thinking Oscar's about to get stopped. Mm-hmm. And he continues. He weathers the storm. And then when he actually stopped Vargas, I'm like, what am I watching? And Trill was like,
Listen, I was so in. I feel like I was fighting. I was so exhausted. You know what I'm saying? I feel like De La Hoya knocked me out too. I was so excited from screaming. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, listen. I think we probably told the story like once or twice, but Trill was the only one. Trill. I think you were the only one who picked Vargas, I think. So Trill's on my enemy lines, dog.
I had a connection with Fernando Vargas.
Trill's in a room with a bunch of people rooting for Oscar. He's in a room with a bunch of people who like Oscar fans. And there was some women there with us and I remember when Vargas was dominated. I'll never forget this quote because Trill said, "Oh yeah, y'all picking Oscar because he's cute. Because he's cute. Y'all think Oscar's gonna do something because he's cute." And we was just sitting there like dying laughing, like, yo, what's wrong with you? But anyways, that fight shows that Oscar was a dog. But getting to should the challenge have to take away the belt from the champion, you really got to think about this. Should they? No. But is that the way it is, right? Look at Laura versus Canelo. I remember that being a big one. Did Laura do enough to take the belt from Canelo? Right? Some people screaming robbery. Was it a robbery? Again, to me, a robbery is a fight in which you win 8-4 at least. That's to me and we've had this discussion before. If it's 7-5, it's a matter of one round difference being a draw, 2-round difference going the other way. But if it's 8-4, it's almost like, there's no way to me you could justify it going to the other person or it being a draw. So, kind of like Lennox Lewis Holyfield. I'm like, how can you justify making that a draw? Like, even at that point, a draw is a robbery to me.
Unless, remember, because I actually said, I think Laura won. However, I can see why the judges will give it to Canelo because of the style that Laura implemented. It was effective, but it's not fan friendly. So it's like,
what do you recall your score for that fight?
It was just like one round, so it was a 7-5.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
I had it one round. I had it one round. I had it one round for Laura. Yeah, I had it one round for Laura.
So, but I'm just saying, I can see why people are like, nah, give it to Canelo because of what Laura was doing in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, bro, there's certain dudes, athleticism's out the window when you just start lapping, bro. It's just like, come on.
Nah, I had it one round for Laura, but Canelo did win a series of rounds. Whenever this happens, I always think about it this way. And fighters got to think about it this way too. If someone just won 4 rounds in a row, that's a good portion of the fight, fam.
Yeah,
right. Think about it like if a draw, you need 6 rounds. Mm-hmm. If someone just dominated 4 rounds in a row, and that's 4 rounds in a row, and like you're going into the 11th, you really got to think to yourself, like, did I really win those rounds on every single judge's scorecard? How could you even know?
Yeah.
So you really got to come out like, I got to take these next 2. And that's why I like Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall. All I remember from my scorecard was I gave 4 straight rounds to Josh Taylor. And this is after giving him all the rounds to Jack. And I'm like, this is bad for Jack. Because if someone wins 4 rounds in a row, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, similar thing. I remember giving like Katie 4 rounds in a row. And although I thought Amanda Serrano won the fight, I'm like, you give away 4 rounds in a row, that's a significant chunk of the fight. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's another thing that happened with him. But for me, I think we lose the opportunity to see great stars. Like, who knows who Jermaine Ortiz could have become if he would have got that decision. But should they have to? No. But I will say this. Based on how much money they invested in Teofimo Lopez, based on the fact that you're fighting on TakeOver Thursday, dog. It's TakeOver Thursday. You know what I mean? It's not Boston Marathon Sunday. What they hold a Boston Marathon on Sundays? I forget, Saturday, whatever the point is. It's not in your backyard. So you should have known that anything close wasn't going to be in your favor. If fighters really got to start thinking that way, and they got to know that. Is that right? No. But is that the way it is? Yes. You know how you know that's the way it is? What was the first thing we say every time it goes to decision and someone's fighting in someone's hometown, or the B side's fighting the A side? We say, we hope they don't rob them. Mm-hmm. If we know that, the fighter should know that.
I think it's Marathon Monday. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's Monday. It's Monday. Yeah, because we get work off on that day.
Let us know how you feel in the comments.
Yo, wait, that's Jermaine Ortiz new day.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros. That would be a dope fight card. Shakur Stevenson, put them all on Marathon Monday.
Yo, and Richard Hitchison, you'll be on that card too.
Yep, Hitchison.
So watch your mouth.
Dope episode.